So this is a Compass Rambler 24. We'll take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll demonstrate these to you in person here on site. In the front locker you've got your 2 gas bottle tie downs with your gas regulator on the bulkhead. Carry a maximum of 2 6kg propane gas bottles at any point on board the Caravan. Coming down the side of the van, you've got your water pump connection. Very simply pulls out or pushes into the side of the Caravan, then you can lock it in place with the cap here. The pickup pipe drops down inside the aqua roll and it needs to be fully submerged in the water prior to turning the water pump on. If it's not, it will potentially draw air up into the water system and cause an airlock. Either side of the van at the front you have your 2 wind down legs to stabilise the Caravan while it's on site. They're only there for stabilising, not lifting. So you'd wind them down to the ground, touch them on the ground so it balances the van out, and then put the rear ones down also. You then got your heating and hot water flow. You need to remove this cover prior to igniting anything on gas inside of the Caravan. If you ignite anything on gas while this is on, it'll more than likely not light, but if it does you could get a build up of carbon inside of the van. So please be aware and please remove the cover before each use. You've then got your fridge vents, 2 fridge vents, very simply there to allow the hot air out the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. On the top cover, behind the top cover, you'll have a gas flue for when you're running the fridge on gas. Motor mover and wheel nuts, we'll torque the wheel nuts to the correct setting before you leave site with the Caravan, and we'll also demonstrate the motor mover so you can see that is working correctly. Coming to the back of the van, we have our 2 grey waste pipes, or our grey waste pipes, as you can see here. Got one on either side of the legs, so you'll have 2 bits of grey pipe that drop down inside your waste master. And you've got your 2 wind down legs in the back. You've got your toilet flush tank, which you'll need to put 3.5 litres of water in and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. Then below that you have the toilet waste cassette itself, which you need to pull out, pulling up the yellow handle, pulling the cassette towards you. The grey neck here turns out 90 degrees, tip the waste away. Yellow cap, you can measure for your pink and your blue fluid. And then you've got a yellow pressure relief button on the back of the toilet cassette, so when you're tipping it away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. You'll need to put 1 litre of water in there and a cap full of the blue fluid prior to use. Then got a storage locker down the side of the van, for underneath the bed at the rear of the van. And coming further forward, you've got your 12 volt battery and your mains power lead coming into the side of the van. You've got your heating air vent for your awning, as you can see here, and your barbecue gas point, and the last wind down leg. So as you can see, we're now on the inside of the Caravan. As you come in the door on the left hand side, you've got your master power switch for the Caravan. So this is your master power on and off. You've got your roof lights, so inside of the Caravan, and then you've got your awning light for the outside of the van. You've then got your water pump switch and your voltmeter at the top here for the battery on board the Caravan. So once you've got your control panel turned on here and you've got your lights on, etc., you can come underneath the seat on the front right hand side. And underneath this seat on the front right hand side, you will find your drain down valve for the water system, tucked just up in the corner here. You're just about to see it on the left hand side of the screen here. That yellow valve you see, that yellow valve needs to be flat with the floor to fill the water system up, and upright and towards the bottom of the seat to drain the water system down. So with that yellow valve flat with the floor, you can come over to every tap on board the Caravan, open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system, and once all the taps are open on the hot side of the water system, you can turn on the water pump by the door. Once the water pump's on by the door, you'll start to get water flowing through the taps on the Caravan. And once the water system is full, you can shut all of the taps back off, and that is your water system filled and ready to go. At that point, you can come over to your heating and hot water controls on the opposite side of the wall. So if you want to warm the water heater up on electric, you've got this main switch here at the top that you need to turn on. Then at the bottom, that's a preset temperature around 35 to 40 degrees. And on the bottom, you've got the option to run gas for the water heating. You spin the grey dial around to the flame symbol with the little tab here. Green light appears in the back here, and if it ignites on gas, the green light will stay lit to let you know it has ignited. If the red light appears in there, it means it has failed to ignite, but if it has ignited, you can control the water temperature between 30 and 70 degrees on the dial in the centre here. The higher you go, the hotter the water temperature will be, and you will need this switch, or you will need this turn on to boost the water system while you're showering on board the van. You'll notice above you've got a switch that says space heater for the heating on board the Caravan. You'll need to have this main power switch turned on. Then below that you can control the heating by using the 500, 1000 or 2000 watt option down the side here. Select the relevant power source for the Caravan site you're on. Then use the dial in the centre between 1 and 9 to control the temperature of the heating. Obviously the higher you go with this, the hotter the heating will be. You can also use the heater on gas. So if you want to use the heater on gas, on top of the heater, you'll find a dial. You spin this dial around between 10 and 9. Hold down the gas valve and hit the igniter at the same time. Once it is ignited on gas, you'll continue to hold down the gas valve for 5 to 10 seconds, then slowly release the valve at this point. In the front of the heater, you'll see your pilot light. The pilot light is very simply there to show that it has ignited, but like I said, you will need to keep an eye on this, but you hold it while you're holding down the gas valve for 5 to 10 seconds, and you'll also need to check it after you've released the button as well. Once it has ignited, you can control the temperature on the dial on the top here. To turn off the gas heating, you spin it back round to the off position on the left hand side here. Around the Caravan, you've got these little white vents. The little white vents are there to allow the heating to come out of them when you have the blown air turned on. So on the right hand side top of the heater, you have this dot in the centre here that allows the heat out the front of the heater. You've got continuous blown air on the left hand side here, which allows the blown air to come out the vents continuously around the van. And then you've got your fan speed on the dial on top here between 1 and 5. The higher you go with this, the more air it will blow around the van. On the right hand side, you've got automatic blown air. Essentially this means the blown air will cut in and out with the thermostat on board the Caravan. You can put it back in the central position to turn the blown air back off. So once it's in the central position, like I said, it is turned off, and you don't need to, and it will just allow the heat to come out the front of the heater again. You can use the blown air as a cold air fan if you haven't got the heating turned on, and so it will actually still blow the air around the van even though it's not on. Next up, we've got the fridge. Now the fridge is very simple to use. On the front of the fridge, on the left hand side, you have a dial. You spin the dial around to the flame symbol, and you can ignite the systems on gas. So you can press in the temperature control and hit the igniter at the same time. Once it's ignited on gas, you'll continue to hold in the gas valve for a further 5 to 10. Once it has ignited on gas, you'll continue holding the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds, like you do with the heater. But you'll know when it's ignited when this little line in this little window here has come round into the green. That will indicate it's ignited. And if it has ignited, you can control the temperature of the fridge on gas or electric on this dial on the right hand side. I would advise after a few minutes you just come back and check that it has stayed ignited. Going back to the right hand side again, you've got the 240 volt mode. Now 240 volt mode is for very simply when you're on sites with main power. As I said, you can control the temperature of the fridge on the dial on the right hand side when you are on the mains. You then have your 12 volt mode. 12 volt mode is for when you are towing down the road. Now it'll only work if you have the correct power supply on the back, or the correct plugs on the back of your car, or single plug on the back of your car. If you haven't got the right connection from the car to the Caravan, then the 12 volt systems on board the van, so including charging the battery on board the Caravan and also cooling the fridge, will not operate as you are travelling. You can turn off the fridge by spinning it back to the off position on the right hand side here. One thing I should say is with this, you do not need to have the power supply turned on inside of the Caravan. It is only the fridge that needs to be turned on, not the master power switch. Microwave, hob, grill and oven all work very much like your household appliances, no difference at all there. The only difference being, if you're on a non-mains powered site, the microwave will not operate. The rest of the microwave does work like your household. Obviously your hob, grill and oven will all work off the gas, but you will need a lighter or a cigarette lighter to ignite the gas systems on board of either of these. Coming through into the bathroom now, and the last thing we're going to go through. In the bathroom, we have an electric flush on the toilet. Press down the blue button so it allows the toilet to flush. The toilet seat itself turns for your convenience, as you can see. However, when you're removing the toilet waste cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure this toilet's back in the central position. Also below the toilet, you will see a grey waste handle. This grey waste handle needs to be in the open position to allow the waste into the cassette, and in the closed position when you're not using the toilet. If you have it in the open position, when you're trying to remove the toilet waste cassette, it could potentially damage the toilet waste cassette itself, or the toilet system itself also. So this is the Compass Rambler 20/4. If you have any further questions on the Caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon again. Bye bye.